Hello, everybody, and welcome to Live Interactive English.
That was beautiful.
Thank you. I am Shane.
I am Winne. And so today we're talking about the Phantom of the Opera, part 2.
Part 2.
Yes.
Okay, so speaking of operas, which we're not really talking about an opera because it's a musical, but what is your favorite musical?
My favorite musical is 42nd Street.
42nd Street? I've never even heard of it.
So it is a musical about a girl, a small town girl who makes it big on Broadway. And 42nd Street is, one part of Broadway, the district. So it's actually quite similar to the Phantom of the Opera, just not as scary.
Oh,
so small town girl becomes a star.
So it's more cute, not so scary.
Yeah, no ghosts.
Sweet.
No ghosts.
My favorite is probably Les Miserables.
Ah, yeah. You're a Les Mis fan.
Yeah, I just love the music so much. Yeah. Like I have I can just listen to the music just over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And I've read the book.
Oh.
The book is
It's a long one.
It's like this big.
It's a tearjerker.
The book is so amazing, and so is the musical.
It's very emotional.
How about something like a little bit more fun, like Grease?
Grease is a great one.
Grease is so fun. If you've never seen Grease, you have to see Grease. It's so much fun. It's a great musical, and it'll introduce you to some kind of 70s culture, and that's a fun one.
That's a fun one. It's a happier one.
Yeah, very happy, very fun, good times.
Yeah. So unlike the Phantom of the Opera, which is what we are going to be talking about, the Phantom of the Opera Part 2.
Okay, let's do it.
The ghost told Christine that he was actually a man named Eric and that he was in love with her. She stayed with him for a while, practicing music together, until one day she removed his mask. She was shocked to see that he was horribly deformed, with a face like a yellow skull. Despite her terror, Christine promised Eric she would return to him if he allowed her to briefly leave his lair. Eric agreed.
Part 2 of Phantom of the Opera.
Anyway, the ghost told Christine that he was actually a man named Eric.
What?
And that he was in love with her.
Oh no, now we've got 2 people in love with her.
Well, Christine is very talented and beautiful.
Oh.
She stayed with him for a while, practicing music together, until one day, she removed his mask. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
She was shocked to see that he was horribly deformed with a face like a yellow skull. Okay, so he was deformed, and that usually means when someone has been hurt or they might be born that way, but it's when their parts of their body is a little bit different and has gone through some stuff and might have some
everything
scars.
has a form, right? So our face has a form. If you say it's deformed, that means that the normal form of it is not.
It's very different.
Yeah, the form has been kind of messed up or something like that, or looks different than usual.
Yeah. So something can be deformed just like when you order something online and through shipping, maybe they dropped it.
The box gets all deformed.
Yeah. So it's not necessarily a good or bad thing, but she was shocked.
Well, it says horribly deformed. It doesn't sound good.
Doesn't sound good. And, there's a yellow skull. So clearly something in the past has happened to his face.
I'm going to just go ahead and say that he doesn't sound very attractive. But looks aren't everything.
Looks aren't everything. It's not the most important thing.
Okay. So despite her terror, so she was scared.
Yeah.
Okay. Despite her terror, Christine promised Eric she would return to him if he allowed her to briefly leave his lair. Eric agreed.
So Eric is actually quite trustworthy, trusting.
Let's back up a little bit. He kidnapped her.
Okay, true.
And he's pretty much a monster.
It's kind of like Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah. kidnapping is not cool.
It's not cool and we do not condone it. Let me just say, LIVEABC does not condone kidnapping.
Okay?
But
so he's gonna allow her to briefly leave his lair.
Yeah.
In other words, leave the jail that he's put her in.
the dungeon.
The dungeon,
Yes.
right?
And now his name is Eric, so they're on a first name basis. She doesn't call him Ghost, at least not to his face.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, is he a ghost or a deformed man?
Well, so here now we realize the ghost is actually a real man.
So this is a person, not a ghost. He's just deformed.
He's just deformed.
And he's got like a yellow-looking skull.
Yeah, which is why he wears the very famous Phantom of the Opera mask. But so let's go back and say, okay, what is terror?
Yeah, because that would just imagining what he looks like would instill terror in anybody. So terror is a feeling of extreme fear. So it's not just like, oh no, ooh, that's a little bit scary. I mean, it's like, like scary.
Are you okay?
Yeah, that was fear. I'm acting.
You're such a good actor.
I'm really a good actor. So for example, you could say, the darkness of the room filled Abigail with a sense of terror.
I'm very excited for you to continue this story because it gets very crazy.
Does it get crazy?
We'll have to see after the break.
Okay.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny。我们在前一天的故事读到，剧院幽灵从一扇通往他地下巢穴的暗门绑架了克里斯汀。那老师们在提到这个地下巢穴时，也有用到 dungeon，D-U-N-G-E-O-N。dungeon 它是指地牢，尤其是城堡中的地牢。那老师们还特别强调说，我们并不鼓吹或者是纵容绑架的行为哦。那老师说的 condone 这个动词 C-O-N-D-O-N-E， 它表示纵容、包容或者是饶恕。好，那么幽灵告诉克里斯汀，他其实是一个名叫艾瑞克的男子，还说他爱上了他。那克里斯汀待在艾瑞克身边一阵子，一起练习音乐，直到有一天啊，他摘下了艾瑞克的面具，然后看到他畸形的可怕，脸孔像一副黄色的骷髅。克里斯汀感到很惊恐，那尽管如此，他还是有向这个艾瑞克保证说，如果他允许他暂时离开这个巢穴，他会回到他身边。那艾瑞克也答应了。好，单字 terror 它表示恐惧、惊恐，是个名词。那补充单字 deformed， 它是形容畸形的、变形的。Winne 老师在解释这个字时有提到 scar，S-C-A-R，scar 表示疤痕或者是伤疤。那这边一个重点，我们进入文法时间。好，这边我们来学习名词加上 VING 或 PP， 也就是分词、片语修饰名词的用法。主格关系代名词 who、which、that 所引导的形容词子句，可以省略掉关系代名词，然后把动词改为分词来修饰先行词。形容词子句在表示主动或进行时，我们就是把它改成现在分词 VING。那表示被动的时候，就是用过去分词 PP。举例来说 ，The guy who is standing at the door is Pam's boyfriend。站在门口的男子是 Pam 的男朋友。那句子里面Who is standing at the door？ 这是形容词子句，那 Who is standing 就可以简化成 standing， 所以例句会变成 The guy standing at the door is Pam's boyfriend。我们就看到这时候 the guy 后面是接现在分词 standing 来修饰咯。接回到课文中。
Christine immediately told Raoul what had happened, and they made a plan to run away together. However, Eric, who had been listening to their conversation, was filled with rage. He kidnapped Christine again and told her that if she didn't marry him, he would blow up the entire theater. Despite his threats, Christine felt sorry for the poor lonely man and allowed him to kiss her. Nobody had ever shown him such kindness before, and as they both cried, he let her leave. Before she did, though, he gave her a ring and asked her to return when he was dead to place it back on his finger. Not long after Christine left, Eric passed away. When his body was discovered, it had a ring on its hand. Christine had returned just as Eric had asked.
Shane, welcome back from the break.
Welcome back to you. And
I don't know why I'm doing a British accent.
And to you, was that a British accent?
I mean, I don't know. It was kind of transatlantic.
Not exactly. Okay, so before the break, okay, Eric, we find out Eric is a man.
He's not a ghost.
He's not a ghost.
I told you don't have to worry.
And Eric's like, hey, I'm really in love with you. And, she...
Well, not only that, but something's kind of up with his face.
The thing is that she removes his, first she's like practicing and stuff, and one day she decides to remove his mask and then finds out that he has a horribly deformed face, like a yellow skull.
It's not what she was expecting.
It's not what she was expecting. So she's pretty scared, and she's like, hey, Eric, if you just, I promise I'll come back if you just let me leave this lair.
Yeah.
For just a little while.
But he agrees.
He's like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So now?
Continuing on, Christine immediately told Raoul what had happened, and they made a plan to run away together. That's fair. Come on. You
can't go kidnapping people.
You can't go kidnapping people and then expect them to really keep their promise and say, I'll come back.
I promise I'll come back. Pinky swear.
That's like a robber saying, like, you know what? Don't call the police, please. Okay, promise that you won't call the police. Yeah. Of course, she's going to seek help from her childhood friend, Raoul.
All right, so she immediately told him. So to immediately is an adverb just meaning without delay.
Very fast.
Right away.
Right away.
So for example, I'm going to my parents' house immediately after work.
Or if I find out some hot gossip, juicy gossip, I'm immediately telling you.
You will, right?
Yeah.
Same here. Okay, continuing. However, Eric, who had been listening to their conversation, was filled with rage.
Dun, dun, dun. Isn't that so juicy? He was listening.
He was listening.
Okay,
he's like a ghost.
Yeah, he's not a ghost. So what does rage mean? Okay, rage is a noun and a verb, and it just means, fury or anger. Okay, so to have that fury or anger, just like someone ate my lunch, okay, that I labeled Winnie in the fridge.
She doesn't share food.
I do not share food, so I was filled with rage. Or you can rage on someone. It means like chew your ear off. Shane, it was you, wasn't it? You ate my lunch.
No, it definitely was not me because I do not want to feel the wrath of your rage.
Okay, I believe you.
So it just means like extreme anger, rage, right?
So for example, Bill felt so much rage when the other boys made fun of him. Aww. I feel you, Bill. Yeah, but that's basically, he heard everything she was saying.
Wow, okay. All right, so continuing. He kidnapped Christine again and told her that if she didn't marry him, he would blow up the entire theater. I'm not really liking this phantom dude too much.
You know what? Reading this back, it's kind of hard for me to help Eric out.
You can't really empathize with this guy. Like, it's okay. It's one thing you fall in love with someone, right? And yeah, poor you. You're a bit deformed or whatever, but you can't just go kidnapping people.
Yeah. It's not nice.
And then being like, if you don't stay with me, I'm blowing up the theater.
It's kind of creepy, yeah.
All right. Despite his threats, Christine felt sorry for the poor, lonely man and allowed him to kiss her.
Christine, girl, your judgment is a little weird.
Her taste in men might be a little bit, I don't know, yeah.
Because, she gets threatened, okay? Yeah. Eric makes this threat.
Well, what is a threat? What is it?
So, threat is a noun and a verb, and it means to make a statement or promise of danger or harm. So, you can threaten someone or make a threat. Okay, so for example, my mom made threats that if I didn't tidy my room, I would be punished. So we can obviously tell that to threaten someone or to make a threat is not very nice. I don't think a boy, if a boy made a threat to me, I don't think I would be like, okay, hey, kiss me, I'll kiss you back.
Yeah, yeah, especially blowing up the theater.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I don't know, because girls are sometimes weird. It's just like, I'm so in love with you You are so precious to me that if you leave me, I'm going to blow up the theater.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Isn't that adorable? Okay, continuing. Nobody had ever shown him such kindness before. And as they both cried, he let her leave. Before she did, though, he gave her a ring and asked her to return when he was dead to place it back on his finger.
Yikes. Continuing on, not long after Christine left, Eric passed away. When his body was discovered, it had a ring on its hand. Christine had returned just as Eric had asked. I have mixed feelings.
I've got very mixed feelings about this. I mean, I feel a little bit bad for Eric. He sounds like he's had a pretty tough life.
He's had a tough go at life. And of course, this has affected, the way he views love and the way he treats people because he also hasn't, interacted with people in a very, very long time. But I don't know.
He's a bit of a monster. And you said it great before. It's kind of like Beauty and the Beast.
So what do you think, Shane? Do you feel sorry for Eric? Why or why not? Okay, to be fair though, this summary of the entire musical, it's very short and a lot of the details and the beauty of the
falling in love, like these kind of elements have been left out.
I'm not defending Eric. I'm just giving you the full picture.
Well, just from this, short kind of summary of the story, just objectively speaking, kidnapping, not cool.
You don't want to be kidnapped?
No, not cool. And I don't think that's really the way to get a girl to fall in love with you is to kidnap her, basically and threaten to blow up the building if you don't marry me. Like, I don't...
He's intense.
I feel sorry for him in the sense he's had a tough life.
But, there are a lot of people who've had a tough life and don't go around threatening girls that they're going to blow up a theater if they don't come back with them.
There we go.
So I personally, I'm a little bit biased because there is a second, musical to this, and I know that one, but it shouldn't affect my feelings towards this Eric. I don't feel bad for him.
Okay.
I know.
And that is our conclusion, and
we don't feel bad for him.
We have reached the end of The Phantom of the Opera. Well, we hope you enjoyed. It's definitely an interesting story.
I definitely recommend you check it out. And we'll see you next time.
Okay, bye-bye.
刚刚说到艾瑞克同意克里斯汀暂时离开巢穴，那克里斯汀马上就告诉劳尔发生了什么事，他们订定一个一起逃跑的计划。然而这个艾瑞克其实一直在听他们谈话，他非常的生气，那又再度绑架克里斯汀，还说如果他不嫁给他，他就要炸掉整个剧院，像恐怖情人一样那尽管受到威胁，这克里斯汀还是对这一名可怜孤单的男子感到同情，那也允许艾瑞克亲吻他。以前从来没有人向他示出这样的善意，那么后来艾瑞克就让他离开了。不过在他离开之前，艾瑞克给他一枚戒指，请他呢在他死后回来将戒指带回他的手上。那在克里斯汀离开后不久，艾瑞克过世了。当他的尸体被发现时，他的手上有戴着一枚戒指。那看来克里斯汀有信守承诺。好，单字 immediately 它是副词，表示立刻、马上。那么 rage 当名词，它可以表达盛怒、震怒。老师们也有提到两个名词，一个是 fury。F-U-R-Y 它可以表达暴怒、狂怒，还有提到 wrath。W-R-A-T-H 那它可以指愤怒或者是愤慨。下一个单字是 threat， 它表示威胁、恐吓或者是构成威胁的人事物，是个名词。好，那这边一个重点，我们进入文法时间。这边我们来学习 blow up 的不同意思与用法。那先说明一下 blow 的动词三态是 blow, blew, blown。那偏语动词 blow up 常见的意思有3种，来看一下。第一个是指说爆炸或是使什么爆炸，它可以当及物或不及物用。举例来说 ，He managed to get out of the car just before it blew up。就在车子爆炸前，他设法逃出车外。第二个意思是指大发雷霆、勃然大怒，那是当不及物用，后面可以接 at 加对象来表达对某人大发雷霆。例如 Have you ever blown up at someone for no reason？ 你曾经没来由的对人发火吗？ 第三个意思是表达给什么充气打气，那是当及物用。例如 They used an air pump to blow up the balloons. 他们用打气筒给气球充气。好，那以上这些讲解，同学别走开，马上回来哦。
The ghost told Christine that he was actually a man named Eric and that he was in love with her. She stayed with him for a while, practicing music together, until one day she removed his mask. She was shocked to see that he was horribly deformed, with a face like a yellow skull. Despite her terror, Christine promised Eric she would return to him if he allowed her to briefly leave his lair. Eric agreed. Christine immediately told Raoul what had happened, and they made a plan to run away together. However, Eric, who had been listening to their conversation, was filled with rage. He kidnapped Christine again and told her that if she didn't marry him, he would blow up the entire theater. Despite his threats, Christine felt sorry for the poor lonely man and allowed him to kiss her. Nobody had ever shown him such kindness before, and as they both cried, he let her leave. Before she did, though, he gave her a ring and asked her to return when he was dead to place it back on his finger. Not long after Christine left, Eric passed away. When his body was discovered, it had a ring on its hand. Christine had returned just as Eric had asked.
Hey, 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 it's KiWi on the street. I'm Kiki.
And I'm Winnie.
In English, we have a lot of phrases that we use in our daily lives. So today we are going to learn some new phrases.
Like, let's get the show on the road. Okay, let's work on some phrases, okay?
刻意冷落别人.
Maybe it's give the cold shoulder. The first one?
Give somebody the cold shoulder.
I think it's the second one.
Give somebody the cold face.
我觉得是 give somebody the cold face.
I think it's the second one. Give somebody the cold face.
Give somebody the cold face. You give somebody the cold shoulder.
Oh, cold shoulder.
Okay, cold shoulder. All right, the next one is 令人惊讶，引人质疑. Do you rise eyebrows or raise eyebrows?
Raise eyebrows. The first one.
Raise eyebrows.
I think it's the second one.
那我也猜第二个好了。The second one?
The second one. Raise eyebrows.
Raise eyebrows. Yeah.
Are you sure? Raise or rise? You want to change? Or do you want to stay with that answer?
I'll stay with that.
Yeah? Raise or rise? He says
Oh,
raise.
no. Wait. Rise.
Rise. I'll give you one more chance. You want to change it?
Yes.
So rise eyebrows?
Yes.
You should have kept it. It's raise the eyebrows. Very good. Okay, so what have we learned today? Go with your gut. And also, what else have we learned today?
Let's review the phrases we learned today. The first one, give somebody the cold shoulder. It means to ignore someone or to be unfriendly. Now, this phrase came from the 19th century in Europe. When a host invited people over for dinner, of course, they would serve them hot food, which made their guests very happy and they felt very welcome. But if you did something to make the host feel upset, they would serve the shoulder part of the animal, the meat, and they would serve it cold to that person. So that was the host's way of showing that they were unhappy with that person. So that's where this phrase, to give somebody the cold shoulder, came from. Our next phrase is raise eyebrows. And it is when somebody is surprised or suspicious of something. So often we will have the action of raising our eyebrow. And when you use the phrase raise eyebrows, it is meant to mean that someone has done something to make you feel surprised or suspicious. So for example, Vicky's green hair raises a few eyebrows at school because she's not supposed to have green hair, right? Well, those are all the phrases that we learned today. KiWi later!